Vikings, let's win the game.
Vikings fan, it is a busy day in Minnesota. Kevin O'Connell has the team on high alert and has already made it clear that they are about to face a Bears squad totally different from the one at the start of the season, while the locker room is heating up after Adam Thielen's outburst about officiating. On top of that, there is serious buzz about a New York Jets player popping up on the purple radar, and then you have Justin Jefferson sending a powerful message and another Viking star closing in on a massive milestone in franchise history. All of this is going to hit you hard, and honestly, that last story, that one really carries weight. Stay locked in until the end because there is something big coming. But before we dive into every detail of this breakdown, let me hit you with something quick. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. It is free, it does not cost you anything, and it really helps keep this purple fan-driven voice alive. Drop a like as well, because that is what pushes this video out to more Vikings fans across the world on YouTube. And jump into the comments, because this space belongs to all of us who feel the Vikings in our chest every single Sunday. Let me be straight with you. Whenever someone says we already beat the Bears this year, I almost choke. The team coming in on Sunday has nothing to do with that lost group from week 1, nothing. And that hits me because as an old member of the Purple Faithful, I have seen games flip just because we underestimated the wrong opponent. The current version of Chicago is much more polished than it looks, even with issues here and there. I literally caught myself saying out loud this morning, this is not the same team, Derek, it is not. Ben Johnson himself has spelled out how much they have evolved. He talked about trust, about chemistry, about players who have earned real confidence inside the system. You can see it instantly in their offensive line. I remember that first meeting clearly. Those guys barely knew each other, 3 new starters on the interior, 0 chemistry. We owned the line of scrimmage without breaking a sweat. It was almost weird watching Chicago have no control at all up front. They looked stuck in the running game, and even worse, whenever they tried to throw, we were breathing easy on every snap. 2 months later, now it feels like another universe. Their offensive line has been steamrolling defenses since the bye week, averaging more than 180 rushing yards per game. They have only allowed 14 sacks over the first half of the season, and that is with Caleb Williams constantly Houdiniing his way out of pressure. I watched some of those plays and had that pure fan reaction. No way, this kid is slipping away from 3 guys again. And speaking of Williams, he looks so much better now. In the opener against us, he seemed almost blind to what was happening downfield once the opening script ran out. That is normal when you are installing a new offense. Now, he is reading defenses like a veteran on a lot of snaps. Their offense has taken off. 3rd in yards per game, 6th in points per game, 1st in explosive plays. First, that gives any experienced fan that little pit in the stomach thinking about big plays raining down early. Do not give these guys room to breathe. And they are right. Their defense shows up differently too. Even with brutal injury luck, Jaylon Johnson, Kyler Gordon, and TJ Edwards are out again, which is cruel. Even so, before they collapsed in the 4th quarter against a debuting J.J. McCarthy, they played excellent football. The pass rush was biting, Dayo Odeyingbo was on fire. Then they disappeared for a few weeks and found new life once Austin Booker returned. And honestly, with our offensive line banged up, they should be able to dial up pressure again. Only here you get this kind of perspective from a Vikings fan who has watched the same movie for decades. On our side, the roster is basically the same. J.J. McCarthy is still feeling the speed of the National Football League. 4 games, wild swings, which is natural, but we have Kevin O'Connell, who always seems to pull a rabbit out of the hat. When he is in a groove, this offense becomes a real problem to defend. Still, to be honest with you, this Bears team is nowhere near an easy target. Not even close. Drop your thoughts in the comments if you agree, because the next story turns the temperature up even more. Let me tell you, when I heard Adam Thielen open up the way he did, I almost spilled my coffee. It is not every day that one of the most respected guys in the Vikings locker room sits down on power trip and calls referees fanboys. For him to say that, my friend, things have clearly gone too far. I felt this weird mix of laughter and irritation like, here we go again. More headaches with officiating. To always pick up the vibe quicker than everyone else were already messaging me, Derek, this is going to blow up. And it did. The spark that lit the fuse was that absurd blindside block penalty in the loss to the Ravens. If you saw it, you know. He did what every receiver does 1,000 times in a game, and the officials came up with a completely twisted interpretation of the rule. It makes the forehead itch for anyone who has followed the Vikings for decades. It feels like there is always a whistle showing up at the worst possible time. And to be honest with you, Thielen reacted in the most human way possible. Frustrated, fed up, transparent. The kind of vent that only a veteran with real clout can deliver. And in that interview, he did not stop at just complaining. He went further. He said the National Football League needs full-time officials, that this thing where refs work as engineers, lawyers, or CEOs from Monday through Friday and then turn into the ultimate authority in the most physical sport in the world on the weekend does not make sense. And look, only here you get this kind of Vikings fan read, but I thought it was bold and spot on. He dropped that line that is already iconic. Some of these guys are fanboys. A straight shot, no curve, no sugarcoating. I could almost hear a collective "finally" from the fan base, because someone said out loud what we have been grumbling about every week, and this is not just a barstool debate. The league itself admits it could hire full-time officials. Imagine that. Daily training, constant preparation, deep film study, not just whatever you can cram into spare time, but it never happens. The league clutches its money. Officials are afraid to give up stable day jobs. So we end up with this weird limbo that affects big games every season, and of course our Vikings are right there, suffering in silence. Or not so silent anymore. Thielen also hit on something a lot of people ignore. How many lives are tied emotionally to these games? Players, coaches, families, fans. Everyone pouring energy into this. And one bad whistle can change the course of a week, a season, even a career. It is heavy. It is real. It should be enough to pressure the league into fixing it, but every year the conversation fades after a couple of weeks. To be honest with you, I'm with Thielen on this. Full-time officiating should have been in place a long time ago. Now that he has pulled back the curtain, we can really see how big the problem is. Drop a comment if you agree, because the next story hits right at the heart of the Vikings nation and cranks the discussion up even more. Hold up. When I saw that rumor about Justin Fields as a possible target for the Vikings, I literally leaned back in my chair. Seriously, it was one of those, wait, let me read that again moments, because as weird as it sounds at first, when you slow down and look closely, it makes a lot of sense. And I am warning you now. Defend the North is going to explode if this ever becomes a real topic inside the building. I even let out a nervous little laugh by myself. Classic battle-tested fan reaction. The New York Jets are falling apart at 2-8. Everything points to a full reset, and Fields has become this awkward fit in an offense that does not fully trust his arm. Worse, they are using him like an emergency running option, as if that is all he can do. But this is the same coaching staff that went wild when he saved a game throwing the ball. It is the exact kind of chaos a fan recognizes instantly. A team that has no idea what it really wants from its quarterback. And right there, of course, the Vikings emerge as a potential landing spot. And I will be honest with you, that hits different. We like J.J. McCarthy, but the kid is still raw. Very raw. He lost a season to injury back then, came back this year, and is now going through that full-speed National Football League shock that crushes almost every young quarterback right now. It is inconsistent throws, off-rhythm drives, slow reads. It is not his fault. It is a phase. But we also have a roster ready to compete right now, and that math does not add up. That is exactly when the angle you only get in a Vikings fan space like this kicks in. Kevin O'Connell has already proven he can resurrect a quarterback. What he did with Sam Darnold was almost movie-worthy. The guy was left for dead, no one believed in him, and suddenly he looked like a different player. O'Connell knows how to create comfort, rhythm, easy throws that build confidence. And Fields has real talent. No one denies that, not even the skeptics. When he is actually allowed to throw, the numbers show up. More than 63% completions, over 1,100 passing yards, only one interception. He takes care of the ball. And when he runs, he stretches defenses in a way we have been begging to see in Minnesota for years. We keep complaining that this offense needs more mobility to extend plays, escape pressure, improvise. Fields brings all of that in one package. And yes, I know, it sounds wild, but a bold Vikings team is an alive Vikings team. Better to have a quarterback with a high ceiling than sit around waiting for a miracle. And there is his side of it too. Last year of his deal, a perfect setup to repeat the Darnold arc. Come in, play free, ball out, and hit the market in 2027 with a completely different resume. For us, it would be a short-term patch with real upside. For him, it would be a rebirth. To be honest with you, I have no idea if it will happen, but that it makes sense. Oh, it absolutely does. And if the front office pulls that trigger, the shockwave in the locker room will be massive. Drop your thoughts in the comments, because the next story hits hard, straight into the fan base's emotions and the soul of this team. Man, the moment I saw Justin Jefferson post that he needs to get back to year 3 Jets, I froze for a couple of seconds. Not out of shock, but with that feeling of, yeah, this came from deep inside. JJ is not about drama, not about cryptic messages, not about throwing anyone under the bus. When he speaks up, it is because something really grabbed his heart, I will admit, I even whispered to myself, okay, the honest mode is back. The entire Vikings nation felt it, especially because we all know exactly what Year 3 Jets means. Peak form, the monster, the guy nobody could cover. And when he broke it down at the press conference, it became even clearer. He is missing that season where he absolutely wrecked the league with 128 receptions, almost 1,800 receiving yards, and 9 touchdowns. That stretch where every target looked like a highlight waiting to happen. He talked about missing that feeling of stepping on the field with absolute confidence, that urge to run through whoever lines up in front of him, and honestly, that is easy to understand. That 2022 season was different. We rode that wave in a special way. I even got those nostalgic chills down my arm when he brought it up. But the hardest hitting part was not the technical side. It was him admitting that life hits you, that sometimes your mind drifts, that your focus is not always as clean as it seems from the outside. That got me. It is rare to see a superstar drop the shield like that. He talked about growing up, about now being one of the faces of the league, about carrying a heavier load. And that is real. He is not that 23-year-old kid flying around without thinking anymore. The pressure and expectations ramp up. There is way too much weight on one player. On the field, things have changed too. Jefferson is not seeing those one-on-one looks he used to destroy. Now it is constant double teams, shaded coverages, defenses built specifically to slow him down that steals a bit of the fun, as he admitted. It did not take away his love for football, but it peeled off a slice of the joy. Just a slice, but you can feel it. Even from a distance, you could tell he was carrying something heavier. Then J.J. McCarthy enters the equation. He is still learning, still developing, still getting smacked by the speed of the National Football League, missed throws, late reads, that normal young quarterback anxiety. Jefferson did not throw him under the bus. Quite the opposite. He poured confidence into the kid. He repeated that this is a long road, that building a connection takes time, that even Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold needed time to figure out how to play with a wide receiver who draws that much defensive attention, and that actually gave me some relief. We need that partnership to click. To be honest with you, Jefferson's outpouring was not weakness. It was a warning light. He wants to flip the switch back to savage mode. He wants to carry this team again. He wants to feel that fire inside. Drop a comment if you agree, because the next one, the last one, is the kind of story that reaches into the soul, the history, and the legacy of this franchise. When I woke up and saw the official announcement, I honestly felt a lump in my throat. Harrison Smith is about to play his 200th game for the Vikings 200. Do you realize what that means? I grew up watching this team, got old cheering for this team, celebrated, suffered, even broke a remote or two. But some players make you stop, take a breath, and say, this one is different. Harry is exactly that, a wall with a purple soul. I even muttered to myself, man, what an honor to watch this guy play here for so long. 14 seasons. 14. And it is not just about showing up, it is about constant impact. He missed only 2 games this year for personal reasons, and now comes back to hit a mark that only a tiny group of players in purple have ever reached. He joins a list that includes Jim Marshall, Mick Tingelhoff, Fred Cox, Carl Eller, and Scott Studwell. Only heavy legends, only names that shaped the identity of the Minnesota Vikings. There is no denying it. Smith belongs in that tier. If there were a hall of consistency, he would be the first inductee. And here is what really gets me emotional. This might be his last season. His contract is up next year, the body takes a beating, the league is ruthless. When that sinks in, every game takes on a different meaning. Every tackle, every blitz, every disguised coverage becomes a little memory to stash away. To be honest with you, I am already in that blend of celebration and preemptive sadness. Players like this do not come around often. The numbers speak loudly. 37 interceptions, the active leader in the National Football League. More than 1,100 tackles, more than 20 sacks, a stack of passes defensed, forced fumbles, recoveries. That is a Hall of Fame resume, and I know that process is complicated. No rings, a long line of candidates, voters who nitpick everything. But when I stack him up against names like John Lynch, Troy Polamalu, Ron Barber, Leroy Butler, Harrison fits right into the conversation. And it is not just me saying that. Brian Flores has backed that idea. Kevin O'Connell has practically declared his love for the guy. Inside the building, he is universally respected. On top of that, his leadership resume is just as strong as his stats. O'Connell said back in 2024 that Smith is one of his all-time favorite players to coach. He talked about his character, his example, his presence, his influence in the locker room. That matters. There are plenty of good players out there. Good players who are also human pillars are rare. Maybe the most symbolic thing is that even as he ages, Harry is still bringing real on-field impact. He reads offenses like he is in their huddle. He disguises blitzes as well as almost anyone this league has ever seen. He meshes perfectly with Flores' system, playing with a level of instinct you simply cannot teach. And on Sunday, against Chicago, we are going to watch him run out of that tunnel in purple for the 200th time. I do not know about you, but I am stopping everything just to soak in that moment. Drop a comment if you agree, because now it is time to tie all of this together in our final take. It is funny. After taking all of this in, you end up with this mix of weight in your chest and pride at the same time. We have talked about a completely different Bears team, a veteran's explosive honesty, a quarterback rumor that could shake the franchise, Jefferson's fight to reignite his inner fire, and Harrison Smith carving his name even deeper into Vikings history right in front of our eyes. Looking at all of that together, I will say it. This team is in one of those stretches that shape a season, shape character, shape the future. The conversation keeps going. Jump into the comments because this space belongs to everyone who lives the Purple Faithful. Stay tuned. SKOL Vikings, let's go.